Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my horror movie collection, and this is part two. And the first movie we're going to start off is with Krampus. When his dysfunctional family clashes over the holidays, young Max is disillusioned and turns his back on Christmas. Little does he know, this lack of festive spirit has unleashed the wrath of Krampus, a demonic force of ancient evil intent on punishing non-believers. All hell breaks loose as beloved holiday icons take on a monstrous life of their own, laying siege to the fractured family's home and forcing them to fight for each other if they hope to survive. Like I keep telling you, Toni Collette, in my opinion, is one of the best horror movie actresses of this generation. And also, they're releasing in November a naughty cut of Krampus, which is the rated R version, and hopefully it will bring more horror to this film, and not as restrained as the PG-13 version. So pick this one up. It's just fun and lighthearted. A Quiet Place. If they hear you, they will haunt you. This is a creepy horror movie in itself because if you even make one peep, the alien will come out and kill you. I really like this horror movie because the silence makes it even more scary. Because if you make a peep, something will happen. There's not much to explain here, starring Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. And I really like the actress who plays their deaf daughter because they all had to learn sign language. And it's quite cool to see what they've learned in such a short time. And then, A Quiet Place Part 2. Following the deadly events at home, the Abbott family must now face the terrors of the outside world as they continue to fight for their survival in silence. Forced to venture into the unknown, they quickly realize that the creatures that haunt by sound are not the only threats that lurk beyond the sand path in this gripping, edge-of-your-seat thriller. I've not seen this full movie yet. I've seen part of it, and what I've seen so far is really creepy as well. Here's some of the images on the cover. And John Krasinski wrote and directed this movie. A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. This is one of my favorite movies. It's basically Freddy Krueger, and he kills people in his sleep. That's really scary to think about, that you could die while you're sleeping. But honestly, this movie's really good. Don't watch the 2010 remake. It is awful. Watch this one. The 1984 version, the 80s classic practical effects horror movies. And now we're going to look at a Disney one. It's not a horror movie per se, but it's just a lighthearted Disney movie about Halloween. It's Tim Burton, and it's a musical about Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King, who goes to Christmas Land and discovers the lightheartedness of Christmas as well as the scariness of Halloween back at his hometown. This is the Target exclusive that I got a while back. I forgot when it came out, but I'll show you. I really like this steelbook. This book because it has something in it with the Blu-ray. Tim Burton is awesome, like I keep telling you. I like his movies a lot. But this is a classic 1993 movie, and the soundtrack is beautiful. So please, the newer generation who hasn't seen this one, please check it out. The Prodigy. I liked this movie. It's heart-pounding, suspenseful, meets unimaginable horror and this haunting thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Taylor Schilling stars as Sarah, a mother whose young son, Miles' disturbing behavior signals that a dark force has overtaken him. But the lines between Sarah's perception and reality soon become blurred when she must choose between her maternal instincts to love and protect Miles and a desperate need to discover the cause of his violent actions. Not much to do in bonus features. This movie is cool. And now we're talking about another classic horror movie that was made in 1960 called Psycho, about Norman Bates, who was this killer. And I really like this one, starring Perkins. He's a really good actor. And Janet Leigh, who's known as the Scream Queen. meant to say Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates. He's wonderful. And this is just a really cool steelbook that I got at Best Buy when it first came out. You see Janet Leigh, the screen queen, the iconic shower scene. Then you see the Bates Motel. If you're interested in a good series, check out Bates Motel, which is basically a prequel to this movie when Norma Bates was still alive. And it stars Vera Farmiga and Freddie Highmore. Good series based on that movie. Then we got Pet Sematary, 1989 horror film by Stephen King. It follows the tragic story of the Creed family. After their cat is accidentally killed, a friendly neighbor advises its burial in a mysterious nearby cemetery. When the cat comes back, it's only the beginning of unthinkable horror. Like I tell you, that unfortunately wasn't a very good movie. I mean, yeah, it was written by Stephen King, based on his novel. But if you're really gonna read something good, read the book to this. It's much, much, much better. As well goes for this one. They changed a little bit here. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it. The daughter dies instead of Gage and she comes back to life. It's just very different. I don't know if I can say this one's better or not, but it's a little more believable than the other one was. But like I said, read the book. And now we're going to get into another thing. I will be owning Misery on 4K when it comes out. That's why it's not in this video yet, because they're releasing a new transfer coming out. But we got Shutter Island. And I still own the Blu-ray to this one, even though the 4K came out, because they're basically the same thing. The 4K is just not worth the upgrade. But it's Leonardo DiCaprio in the spine-chilling thriller that critics say sizzles with so much suspense that it's hot to the touch. When U.S. Marshal Teddy Daniels arrives at the asylum for the criminally insane on Shutter Island, what starts as a routine investigation quickly turns a sinister turn. As the investigation unfolds and Teddy uncovers more shocking and terrifying truth about the island, he learns there are some places that never let you go. This is a novel by Dennis Lehane, and I've never read it, but I heard it's really good and scary. This movie also freaked me out. Thought this was a good spine-chilling, suspenseful horror movie. The Sixth Sense is another classic horror movie, and it's when Dr. Malcolm Crowe, a distinguished child psychologist, meets Cole Sears, a frightened and confused 8-year-old. Dr. Crowe is completely unprepared to learn what truly hunts young Cole. As the depths of Cole's incredible sixth sense is discovered, both Dr. Crowe and Cole are led into intense and mysterious encounters that have unforgettable consequences. And then again, this movie is starring Toni Collette. I own 3 horror movies by her because I think she's the queen of horror in this generation, like I say. And she always will be. She was young in this. She was like 25, 26. And my God, here comes Mama Collette again. You have to watch the best scene, I think, between her and Haley Joel Osment is when they're in the car and he's telling her that he can see the woman who was dead in the car crash, and they're talking about her mother, his grandmother, and about the pendant and how she comes to visit him at night. That's one of the best scenes in this movie. You gotta check it out. And then another classic is The Ring, Naomi Watts. It's based off an Asian one, I think, called The Ring. It begins as just another urban legend, the whispered tale of a nightmarish videotape that causes anyone to watch it to die 7 days later. But when 4 teenagers all meet with mysterious deaths exactly 1 week after watching just such a tape, investigative reporter Rachel Keller tracks down the video and watches it. Now the legend is coming true, the clock is ticking, and Rachel just has 7 days to unravel. This was scary too, because imagine watching this tape and someone comes through the screen and says you'll die in 7 days. That's pretty creepy, isn't it? Saw. We all know what this is about. Obsessed with teaching his victims the value of life, a deranged, sadistic serial killer adopts the morally wayward. Once captured, they must face impossible choices, horrific games of survival. The victims must fight to win life back or die trying. I tried to watch the sequel to Saw. I forgot what it was. I think it was Spiral. And that one scene was just too much for me and I turned it off. So I don't know if I can get through this. I got it because it was 3 for $10. So I'll tell you if I ever get through this one. Because sometimes the grisly, disturbing violence just grosses me the fuck out. And now we're on the infamous topic of the Shining movie. It's somewhat of an adaptation of Stephen King's novel. Because they're sort of really different after you read it. But it's about when Jack Torrance, a writer former alcoholic, accepts a job as the winter caretaker for a hotel high in the Rocky Mountains, isolating him, his wife, and their psychic son until spring. But when the first blizzard blocks the only road out, the hotel stores energy from evil's past deed, begins to drive Jack insane, and there may be no escape for his family. This haunting story, madness, memory, and violence. I think the novel is totally different, and I think you should read it. The one thing you must know, Stephen King hates this adaptation. I like it because from a movie standpoint, it works. It works well. But when you read the book, it's like, it doesn't. So it depends what you're a fan of. If you're a fan of Stanley Kubrick or if you're a fan of King. So you decide in the comments below. I can't tell you. Oh my god, another famous 70s horror movie. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh my god, I got a funny story. When I first watched this movie, I thought every sound was a chainsaw. Because this movie really freaked me out, even though it was a low-budget horror movie. About these teenagers who go hitchhiking. And then they pick up a hitchhiker, which leads them into danger. And which leads them to Leatherface's house. And it was made in 1974 by Toe Pooper. Like, this movie is fucking scary. I couldn't imagine being in a house with this sadistic killer and a chainsaw. There's no way to describe this freaky movie, but I like it anyways. The Thing. I recently updated this one to 4K because I heard it was a lot better than the Blu-ray release. So I got it on Amazon today. But it's about, in the winter of 82, a 12-man research team at a remote Arctic research station discovers an alien buried in the snow for over 100,000 years. Once unfrozen, the form-changing alien wreaks havoc, creates terror, and becomes one of them. I've never actually seen this movie, but I can't wait to watch it on 4K and, it's a better resolution and a better format than this Blu-ray version. So last but not least, for horror movies, we're going to look at Us with Lupita Nyong'o. An endearing American family is pitted against a terrifying and uncanny opponent, doppelgangers of themselves. Her Lupita Nyong'o's performance was outstanding because for her doppelganger, she sounds like this. So I heard she did a wonderful job playing 2 parts. Never actually seen this, but I'll have to watch it. You tell me what it's like in the comments below. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed my video on my horror section. And I'm going to say from Hocus Pocus, bye-bye. Have a good day.